Generally, my position on this has always been that when the government intervenes on behalf of corporate interest, that is seen as a natural extension of capitalism, that subsidizing a corporation
Right.
or corporate tax cut or creating a zero interest window at the Fed, those are all interventions on behalf of corporations. But if the government intervenes on behalf of workers or individuals, whether it be so-called entitlements or whether it be setting wage standards or those things, that's considered antithetical.
Yeah.
It's still government intervention, but it's somehow anti-capitalist. And so that's kind of where I want to start in our discussion. Why do you think that is? Why are those interventions different? Clara?
Well, I think you really point, John, to your finger to the essence of it all, which is we live in a capitalist economy that by definition works according to two pillars: wage labor and private command over investment.
Would that be considered capital and labor? Is that sort of what we're talking about?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Capital and labor, right? The fact that people go work for a wage and others instead command investment, in the sense that decide for all of us how to invest and where, according to the logic of profit. So this, by definition, requires the governments to kind of maintain these pillars alive for the system to be able to accumulate as it should, right? The capital accumulation, which is economic growth. We tend to call it economic growth because it sounds less political. It sounds more kind of neutral. But actually, economic growth presupposes these pillars, which mean that the natural doing of the government is very interventionist, but only in a way that protects the two pillars, which means you can't give too much rights to workers because they might decide not to go work for a wage, while you should always incentivize private investment and subsidize and de-risk, because we kind of all depend on the decisions.
Makers and takers.
Yes.
If government steps in on behalf of makers, that's acceptable because that has virtue. But if you step in on behalf of labor or, able-bodied non-labor, the takers, that would be moral hazard.